Coaching changed everything for me as a leader, not just in formal sessions, but in the everyday moments that matter most. Not as a title, not as a job description, but as a way of showing up. Today on The Courageous Exchange, we're talking about coaching as a leadership practice, how asking instead of telling, listening instead of fixing, and trusting others to find their own answers can shift not just your conversations, but your culture. Welcome back. I'm Deb Carville. I'm a people leader, and I pride myself in showing up with presence, curiosity, and care. I coach my team daily. I coach others, clients, peers, colleagues. I believe everyone benefits when we lead from a place of service and believe in others. This is coaching as leadership, the power of asking, not telling. So what does it mean to coach as a leader? When most people think of leadership, they think of direction, strategy, expertise. But the leaders who've impacted me the most didn't just have answers. They had curiosity. They made space for possibility. They didn't rush to solve. They coached. Coaching as a leadership style means showing up with the belief that people are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole, even when they're stuck. It's about helping others see what they already know and leading them back to themselves. So when you coach, you shift from directing to developing, and that's where growth happens. Coaching builds trust, it fosters ownership, and it reminds people they're capable, not just compliant. Let's go deeper into how coaching is evolving and why it matters even more. Coaching today isn't just about performance goals, it's about people. Some of the most powerful coaching themes I'm seeing right now include building self-trust after burnout and high-pressure leadership cycles, regulating through uncertainty, helping people shift from reactivity to grounded decision-making, returning to values so that choices align with purpose, not pressure. This isn't just good for individuals, it's a strategic move for organizations too. According to the International Coaching Federation, 86% of organizations report a positive ROI from coaching. Teams led by coaching-style leaders experience stronger problem-solving, creativity, and emotional resilience. Coaching improves psychological safety, a key driver for performance, inclusion, and trust. From a business perspective, coaching supports stronger team cohesion, lower turnover and burnout, improved communication and decision-making, and a learning culture that grows leaders at every level. When leaders coach, they don't just develop people, they develop culture. This brings us to a powerful evolution in leadership language, shifting from calling them soft skills to recognizing them as power skills. Empathy, active listening, curiosity, emotional regulation. These aren't secondary to technical skills. They are the accelerators of them. They deepen relationships, fuel innovation, and drive real performance. Power skills enhance your ways of working by building human capacity required to lead change, navigate complexity, and build inclusive cultures. And the more senior you become, the more these skills matter. As a leader, you rely less on your technical skills and more on your ability to build trust, influence outcomes, manage energy, and inspire action. That's why power skills aren't a bonus, they're a requirement, and coaching is one of the most effective ways to develop them. Coaching is how we build and model these power skills every day, and it's how leaders stop fixing and start fostering. And that shift, that's where the magic happens. Let me tell you about a client I worked with. We'll call him Leo. He came to our sessions overwhelmed. He was in a leadership role and everyone came to him for answers. He was tired, burned out, feeling like he had to carry it all. When I asked him, what would it feel like if you didn't have to solve everything? He paused. And then he answered, honestly, I wouldn't know who I was. That's how deeply we tied our worth to having the answers. So we worked on a different kind of leadership, one that involved curiosity, presence, and asking powerful questions. The next time his team brought him a challenge, he didn't jump in. Instead, he asked them, "If you trusted your own judgment here, what would you do?" They paused, then they answered, and something shifted. Because when you stop rescuing, you start respecting, and people rise to meet that respect. Earlier in my career, I wanted to be the one with the answers. I thought leadership meant being the expert, the one who could solve the problem, fix the issue, deliver the result. And truthfully, I liked the spotlight. I wanted to be seen as credible and capable, especially in male-dominated spaces where I had to fight for a seat at the table. But then I started working with a coach who challenged all of that. She asked questions I didn't expect and didn't rush to fill the silence. She trusted me to find my own way forward. And slowly, something shifted. I realized that leadership wasn't about standing in front. It was about walking beside or even behind. When I stopped needing to have the answer, I started hearing things I'd been missing. I showed up differently, less performative, more present. And the more I trusted others, the more they trusted themselves. That shift from performer to partner, from problem solver to space holder, that's where coaching changed my leadership for good. And now I want to invite you to reflect on how this might look in your own leadership. Whether you're leading a team, a project, or just showing up for someone in your life, coaching starts with presence, curiosity, and one good question. So let's bring it back to you. If you're wondering how to bring more coaching into your day-to-day leadership, here are 2 simple practices that make a big impact. 1, the pause and reflect question. Instead of responding right away with your own solution, try asking, "What have you already tried?" Or, "What else might be true?" Or, "If you weren't rushing, what would you notice?" These questions create space. They slow the moment down and invite the other person to step into their own resourcefulness. Here's a second practice called the mirror technique. You listen closely, then reflect back on what you're hearing. Not to correct, but to deepen awareness. For example, what I'm hearing is that you value clarity, but you feel rushed. Or, it sounds like you already know the answer, you're just afraid to say it out loud. This builds self-trust and reinforces that you're not there to judge, but to witness and support. Think of a time someone asked you a question that helped you find clarity you didn't know you had. What made that moment powerful? What might happen if you offered that gift to someone else this week? And the next time you're tempted to give advice, try asking, "What feels most true for you right now?" Or, if you weren't afraid of getting it wrong, what would you try? Let the silence do the heavy lifting. This week and every week, let's lead a little more like a coach. Not because we have the answers, but because we believe in the people we lead. Keep asking, keep listening, and keep leading with heart. And if you missed last week's episode on leading through fear, I encourage you to go back. Every episode is part of a bigger conversation about how we lead from the inside out. Until next time, keep practicing the power of asking, not telling, and keep leading courageously.